Hours feel like days, feel like weeks, feel like seconds. It is as though time is standing still, but I can never not hear the clock ticking. And oh, how time flies. Over the past few months, we've learnt about N's history with the Snapdragon cult. We have followed loose leads to Regal Port to learn about Edmund Beckett and his company. We have established that Warfred is a member of this cult. We know the deaths of Kelson and Tarek Elham are related to this group in some way, to aberrations and Dalkir and mind magic. And all the while, it has been imperative to keep a safe distance between N and the people that hurt them, until we knew that first contact could be survived. This changed today. N had a meeting with Edmund's butler, Alonso, and under the guise of business, after many moons of careful juggling, N has stepped into the spotlight of a Snapdragon. The Umpire's coin showed no evidence of N having been tampered with during this meeting, but their conversation revealed that the butler, Alonso Reedfoot, recognizes N, specifically from their time in Shan, which is fascinating because N didn't wear this face in Shan 4 or 5 years ago when the incident occurred. Despite knowing very well that they are a changeling with multiple personas and an endless possibility when it comes to masks, I have often imagined the events of N's life as shown with their current face, naturally. I know now that this is incorrect. N was somebody else during the Snapdragon incident. Of course, our focus is more about the tragedy of human experimentation and murder theaters than what the victims looked like in their final moments. We aren't Snapdragons, after all. But it does beg the question, why does Alonso know who they are? How has he identified them? I would have thought it was their capital E-I, which I can no longer call Ivan. It is as good as a signature considering how unique it is. But he hasn't seen it. And we have, me to thank for that. The eye patch I made for N has a lens similar to that of my own glasses. It is magically tinted, and in the same way that it guards my eyes from the effects of the ethereal plane, it also prevents others from magically looking in. So if he is unable to see their eye and has no reason to recognize N's face or their name, then he is somehow recognizing N from something else. And the only conclusion I can come to is that Alonso has true sight or knows true seeing, which yes, Damon said was unreasonable, but that was days ago. I am researching the high likelihood that some manner of shape-shifting monster killed Tarek Eldham in the name of a sleepy beholder cult. Stranger things have happened. Are happening. In any case, we are lucky that we didn't go with our initial harebrained scheme to disguise N as Jaylee and take the meeting alone. If Alonso had not only recognized N but seen the eye and Jaylee had not been there, then their interaction may have ended very differently. Instead, their business meeting is adjourned. For now. And meanwhile, my own business meeting has transformed into something of a more social event. And that is an understatement. Let me lay out the pieces. I did my rounds of Regal Port today, and she is shifting. The city was granted 10 days of peace. The Silver Dancer is out at sea, Captain Miraldine aboard. The hospital is abuzz with curious visitors, aware that Tarek Elham is there and perhaps only temporarily dead. I have proof that the paint sample found at the scene of Kelson's death matches the vandalism at the Galleria of Shadows. And, speaking of, Warfred Bartosz, our prime suspect at present, has been postponing our next appointment. So, today I paid him a visit and pestered him until eventually he decided to invite me to dinner. Later this evening, wine and poetry, and I agreed. That invitation was a suggestion spell, so I really had no choice about attending, a fact that has horrific, though unsurprising, implications. It was my intention to secure the focus of the spellcaster, so I am not surprised that I have been successful. Keeping the spotlight fixed on me and nobody else, this was the goal. Working with what I have and what we can't afford to lose, in service of what we might learn. It was a gamble. Every day has been a gamble since we decided to investigate a cult known to employ Nothics and the king's spies, but to have confirmation, to be racked with doubt that I have any control over these machinations at all, it is horrifying, of course, but if I am going to lose my wits now, then it was all in vain. What's done is done. We keep our eyes forward and hopefully well within their sockets. Besides, I broke the spell. Let them never again scorn my capacity for overthinking, as it was my own persistence that dispelled the effects of Warfred's magic. N called me the spell chase Stormbrick Sovereigns, Spellbreaker, and called me the Spellbreaker, and I hope it bolsters their confidence to know that I am capable of such things. Thus, they are capable of such things with enough training and study or the right equipment. And it is certainly not a reputation I mind living up to, though one I cannot take for granted. Wolfred does not know how I broke the spell, so he won't know whether I will visit tonight. Anne and I discussed that I would reschedule, and at first I was going to drop the note off myself, but we've since decided that it is smarter to send a courier. After all, if he was planning to set a trap for me, then perhaps it is best to simply stay indoors. Which brings us to Luca. Currently, he is outdoors at a stakeout, though I don't believe I'm meant to know that. While much of our focus has been occupied by revelations about Alonso, threats to N and Jaylee, and Warford's spell on me, I am not oblivious to the threat posed to our noble paladin, let alone our detective and our dragon slayer. Luca was approached by Alonso first, after all, and he has no disguises. He is just Luca. And until we know what any of these villains are capable of, we don't know how dangerous that interaction really was. I have equipped him best I can with poison tabs and information and a bracelet, and I left Fishdog to watch him from afar with instructions to return to me if anything notable happens. That is the best I can do for now. And is it perfectly planned? No. Is it risky? Always. Confrontation is inevitable. Much about this is inevitable. And it is dismal, dangerous, and frightening. In many ways, we are doomed. Laughably out of our depth. I'm aware of this. But, as always, it is not impossible. And, as always, that will have to do.
So.
Thank you, Willow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wonderful recap. Very exciting.
Luca.
Yeah.
You are being led by Captain Myraldine Frostroot through an alleyway after a drink with her.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a perception check.
Is that at disadvantage?
No, this is a straight roll.
My favorite. 15.
Okay. You notice that as you're walking, you feel kind of hazy, a little numb around the edges.
Well, that's not good.
You know your alcohol tolerance is much higher than that. You shouldn't be like this after one drink. You stumble briefly as you try and round a corner. Myraldine walking much faster than you. And you briefly lose sight of her.
Where is she? Where does it seem like she's leading me?
You don't know.
Huh.
She asked you to accompany her back to the docks. And it's vaguely in that direction. You're not sure. You...
Can I see the docks, or are there too many buildings in the way?
Too many buildings in the way at the moment. You're in a narrow alley, and like Myraldine has just rounded the corner, and you've lost sight of her. What do you do?
Ugh. I don't like this. I feel... You said I feel, off kilter?
Yeah, warm and hazy.
Ugh. Not good.
strangely content.
Okay, that's a red flag. I've never felt content a day in my life.
God.
But you have
Uh,
lost sight of Miraldine, so what do you do about that?
I will probably call out to her, like, see if she's noticed that she has lost me.
Okay. As you stumble forwards to try and catch up, you round the corner, and there is a tall, snowburned man with wild blue eyes peering in front of you.
Okay. He's dead, right? I have that information, right?
You do. And told you about that.
Okay, not good.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
what
pretty
it
bad. That's not great.
Yeah. Not good. Great start. Where are we
Not
going,
good.
Buster?
Yep.
All right. Is he looking at me?
He's not just looking at you, he has closed in and stabbed you in the side with a knife.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Very not good.
Good start. Going better.
You and the only reason you notice that is because as you try and pull away when he draws too close, you feel like a faint pulling but no pain.
Oh shit.
You take 14 damage.
14. Cool.
And you are grappled and restrained at the moment.
Oh.
Make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh no, my God.
Oh, 12.
Not enough.
Not my best. No. Not my best.
Handshake.
As you are reeling, blood spilling down your side, where this strange barbed knife has cut you, you suddenly feel an invasive force on your mind, pushing in deep and pulling out the memories of the Speak with Dead ritual of Tarek Elham. What do you do? You are poisoned, by the way, and have
of course I am.
disadvantage on all ability checks. And I should say wisdom saving throws, but...
Well, I failed, so.
Majority
Yeah.
failed.
But how badly could I have failed?
You could have failed worse, I guess.
I know I could have. Do you want me to roll again for
No, this is
just
good
in
enough.
case? Okay, cool.
No.
Because you get stabbed twice.
Well, I was like, what if my brain breaks? This is my favorite.
It's already broken.
If I'm restrained, does that mean I can't do anything?
I will inform you about
Just
the
want to
restrained
confirm. Yeah, let me see what I'm
condition.
working with here.
So your speed is 0 until you
Okay.
break the grapple.
Yep.
Restrained. A restrained creature's speed is 0, and it can't benefit from any bonus to its speed. Attack rolls against the creature have advantage, and the creature's attack rolls have disadvantage. A creature has disadvantage on dexterity saving throws. Not good.
Not good.
You can still attack, and disadvantage doesn't stack. You already have disadvantage.
Great.
So-
Okay, yeah. I think I will try to just do a quick unarmed strike.
Okay.
Or
roll.
strike
roll to attack. Roll to
at
punch.
disadvantage.
Yes,
Right.
please. Yes.
Oh,
13.
wait, maybe.
You aim for what you believe to be Dragovich's face, and nothing.
Oh,
You feel the blade in your hip twist. Make a Constitution saving throw.
uh,
This is normal.
no, it's not.
Oh,
Well,
fuck.
the first, it fails either way, so
Yeah.
you feel your eyes grow heavy and you sway, feel something wrapping around your arms like ropes of some kind.
Yuck.
The dark alley grows darker and you lose consciousness.
Oh, brother.
Bro, he's gone. I'm gone.
Dead.
You're not dead, you're just unconscious.
No, but I'm
No, just-
also gone.
You've been nabbed.
Hyperbole
You have
You're
been
dead.
stabbed and nabbed.
in some way.
I'm
Stab
dead.
naps.
DED.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh god.
Hey, hold.
So
Nice
we
to
have
see.
another.
But
Before everybody interjects, we see Luca's unconscious body be dragged down into a cellar door
Mm.
in an alleyway. And camera pans slightly, and we see the broken shards of Fish Dog's fins on the floor.
since when? When did my baby go away? When?
Is it in the cellar with me? How dare he?
No, it's on
It's
the
not
street.
in the. It's on the street.
Oh.
When Fish Dog rolled stealth checks,
Shit.
Failed.
it
Failed. My first self check. Damn it.
I don't even care about
thought that was
me.
for Luca.
That's my son.
You shot, idiot.
We can fix Fish Dog. You're gonna bleed out in a cellar.
My only hope was that
I've been
okay,
here
Fish Dog
before,
might have seen
probably.
that Fish Dog's dead. Oh wow, killed Fish. When did?
between sessions.
Can you find the shard at all? Is there any way to track the wreckage? We'll figure that out later.
Yeah.
That's my baby.
Bro.
Good start. Good start,
If you
everyone.
live through
Good
this,
job.
I'll wrangle you.
That couldn't have gone worse.
Dragovich?
We're using ghosts now, are we? We're using dead men now, are we?
That's what a drama queen.
Yeah,
Right?
really. Truly.
Yeah.
We cut to a few hours earlier.
Off you. Sorry. Continue. My bad. That busted out of me. Continue. Please, thank you. You're the best.
Willow, you are out of your room in the guise of Cogmort, trying to write the missive that you will send with a hotel courier to tell Mr. Bartosz that you are unable to attend tonight. With great apologies.
Yeah, I imagine Willow's doing that. Like, they got the note out and they've got like a dear, no, cross that out, start a new note. Warfred, no. Like, they're just kind of going back and forth. And after a while of like false starts on this note to Warfred, they're like, why am I sending him a note? Like, why would I bother sending him a note now? I can't think of what to say to him, you know? Like, I'm not going to reschedule for this evening. I don't know whether to reschedule for tomorrow. So how about leave it? Don't send him a message at all. And just let him hang there and see what happens.
Just ghost him. Yeah.
Just ghost him. Yeah, Willow's like, why am I doing him the courtesy of sending him a note? I'll show up when I show up or not. And he can live with that uncertainty as recompense for cursing me and possibly murdering people, you know? Not cursing me, putting a spell on me.
Yeah.
He's probably cursing at me, but I haven't heard it yet. So yeah, I think Willow's going to like probably be doing that at like the front counter, and then after a while, like the expectant receptionist looking at them waiting, Willow's just going to be like,
actually, never mind.
And
the concierge gives you a nod.
Yeah. And between that and En's asleep and the threat of it is still very live, I think Willow's going to do what Willow always does when they have unanswered questions and magical concerns.
Mm-hmm.
Hard cut to the knocking at Damon's door.
There's a brief moment, and Damon answers the door, and he says, "Oh, huh. Guess you're not dead yet? Still need me to deliver that note?"
Willow raises their head like they're going to answer, but there is like a long pause of just not sure how to answer that question.
Damon is standing aside so you can actually walk in while he's saying that.
Yeah, okay. Willow will walk in. They would have liked to respond with something, but they don't really know yet. For a while, I think they just stand. They walk probably right across to the other side of the room to the window near the balcony. And just kind of look out with their hands on their hips and the mask on. Thinking. Yeah. Damon gonna say anything else?
He raises an eyebrow at you.
Willow's probably going to turn around now, and with the umpire's coin in their hand, and sort of wave it towards him, and say,
This one's a treat.
Uh-huh.
And now the mask will drop off, and Willow echoes, uh-huh. And, we'll go and hand it to him. Just back across the room.
Damon takes the coin and, looks at it. So you still under the effect, or?
No, I broke it.
Oh, that's good to hear.
But the intention was still there.
Yeah.
Bit concerning. I don't imagine that the threat is completely alleviated yet, though I am intending to avoid the suggested event, dinner.
So, what now?
That is my question. I'm not entirely sure. I guess that's why I've wandered here. Hi, how are you, by the way?
Do you want to make an insight check real quick? Or a perception check, either one.
Yep.
Perception will give you the state of the room, and insight will give you...
I think perception, just because I always perceive.
The state of the man.
Can I do both? I'll perceive first, just because I out of habit.
So, On a 14 perception, you can see that there are a few more stacks of books than when you last were here. And like, I want to say some crumpled up sheets of like calculations, very complex calculations, it looks like. Not that you can tell what they are for, but it looks like Damon has been doing a lot of work in the meantime, in one way or another. And to answer your question, Damon says, well, I've been doing some brushing up on my knowledge about aberrations, stuff like that.
Willow perks.
Don't get your hopes up too high. It's all background information. I don't have anything, let's say, pertinent yet. In part because I am distinctly not involved in the murder investigation, and never have been.
Any information is good information, and your efforts are appreciated regardless. Willard says that while kind of looking down at the mess. It's funny because they just kind of charged through the room unaware of what they've walked into, but now they're kind of like belatedly putting it together. And I think now they will insight Damon.
Okay.
Cool. Whatever. He could roll a 1.
He does not.
Never mind. Willem
So at least now I might have some more, I've refreshed my memory in case you want to ask me more questions, which you always seem to want to do.
Okay, Willow perks, nods. Yes, well, to start, any way to prevent the effects of such spells as suggestion?
Have you tried being immune to being charmed?
Willow flatly looks at him. You would know the answer to that. Sometimes it happens without me trying. A sincere question. People have learnt, evidently, trained the skill.
Yeah, it's not something that comes easily by. It's either... well... most, people that claim their heritage from Solanas and the realm of Fays tend to be a little bit better at resisting being magically bamboozled, but other than that, it's either your innate resilience to that kind of magic, or it's a magical item that'll keep you a little more protected.
And there likely aren't any magical items available at 9 p.m. in Regalport.
Certainly not to you when you only have, like, what, 2 sovereigns to rub together? Damon gives a shrug. No offense.
Willow gives a flat, broke expression.
That being said, the usual way to get rid of it is, get somebody to hit you until it, stops sticking. Preferably the person that casts the spell on you.
Wait, what does he mean by that?
He is referring specifically to the fact that, if somebody enchants you and they cause you damage, that you have advantage on re-rolling the saving throw. Because you are
so
being
mechanically.
actively aggressed.
Right. So when it's
kind of
not
hard
subtle,
to be charmed when you're being hurt.
Yeah. Just hard cut back to Luca being dragged into a cellar. Yeah. Okay.
He wasn't charmed, he was drugged.
I know, that's what I mean. The approach seemed to change.
Yeah.
Ooh, the range. Anyway, sorry. Okay, Willow's going to consider that and say, so nothing pertinent as yet other than be hit, perhaps. Well, other questions.
Also, I've taken your warning under advisement. I still don't think I'm going to be an easy a target. As you guys are. I've been around the block a few times, so I'm pretty confident in my skills, but I've been doing a little reaching out to old contacts. Seeing what the hubbub is in Sharn.
Willow perks again in that way of like any news.
Haven't gotten
Any
any
new
word
information.
back yet, of course. It's only been a day or two, and even the fastest couriers can't cross the entirety of Curvair and then some to get to Regalport. That quickly. Especially if you're asking an academic to write you an essay in the meantime. That'll take a little bit.
Willow nods. Nod. They're probably pacing. They keep looking out the window.
I think Damon is probably like leaned up against a wall or a cabinet, kind of watching you pace. All that being said, maybe I was a little optimistic in thinking that your group's baggage wouldn't necessarily impact the work I had in mind.
Pardon?
Basically what Damon is saying is like he was optimistic to think that your guys' backstories wouldn't affect
The main plot line that he has in his mind for us.
Yeah.
Damn,
He
I just
thinks
realized
he's
I'm
the
not the
main
main
character.
I thought you guys were my party, but it looks like it's the other way around.
Met the most inseparable person in the room, but they also met me.
Yeah. Willow's going to...
It's
Sorry, you explain.
it's not in those direct terms, but he's like, okay, so maybe there were some complications that I hadn't foreseen, and this might be a little more serious than I anticipated.
Yeah. Willow's going to respond with kind of like a wry smile and say, well, apologies for the inconvenience there in Arantego, but so it goes.
So it goes. I mean, I'm not giving up on you.
Willow tries to make it not obvious that they I won't explain it if you're not inside. Never mind. Willow goes back to pacing.
Make a deception check.
Oh, please God.
24. He rolled high.
Yeah, no shit. You know when like someone gets hit? I was gonna say by a rock.
Yes, I do.
And Willow's got that little winded moment of like as if like an arrow has hit them, and then they're gonna try and walk it off. It appears that Damon's saying that maybe hit a nerve. They're not going to think about it. Not a bad nerve. It is nice to have support.
A little bing.
Yeah, specifically from Damon. Support is nice, actually. And him saying it is specifically nice, actually, but that's not the focus at the moment. So Willow is going to shake it off. Probably literally, I think what he sees is them doing a little like head shake, like they're like when a dog removes water from its fur.
Ears flap.
Is that an emotion? Yucky. So yeah, anyway, Willow goes back to walking. And I think out of habit, they're going to probably pull their aberration sword out of their pocket.
I think this is the first time Damon has seen it.
Yeah, it is. Just prime time to be like, let's talk about literally anything else. Willow's going to be like, well, then maybe your research will help me with using this.
Damon raises an eyebrow and says, "Where'd you get that from?"
Grave.
How old of a grave?
Pretty old.
He rolled very well on an Arcana check.
Okay.
And kind of motions over to inspect the sword.
I think Willow, out of habit, does a little swish of it before. I imagine them. Do I have to do a check for this? Because I imagine them like, you know, when people bounce it and so that they catch the blade and hand it over by the handle. Or can I just do that?
No, I think
without
you can do
accidentally
that.
stabbing myself? Yeah, okay.
I think you can do that because you are in a non-combat, non-stressful situation.
A little bit stressed, but for other reasons. I'm kidding. But yeah.
It's because
Well, it's
failure
going
is not necessarily interesting in this situation that I won't
Thank
make
you,
you
yeah.
roll.
Yeah, thanks. But yeah, Willow's going to probably stand back and keep talking and say, I have a feeling I will be dispatching of aberration sometime soon, which I believe that has a skill for, but any more information will be useful.
Damon examines it. Let me see if I can... Yeah. So... Damon sort of flips it back and forth and says, well, it's a pretty old piece of hardware that you've got here. I'd estimate at latest 1st century Galifar. Maybe a little bit before that. Dakani make. Sort of rolls it over in his hands, tested the balance a little bit. It's definitely Biashkor. Not just coated, but made out of it. Yeah, that'll hurt an aberration.
Good. Willow requests it back.
So
I didn't show
gotta
you
tell
earlier,
me-
in case you were compromised.
Right. Well, care telling me about where you found an ancient alien-killing sword?
In a tomb.
What kind
Like I
of
said.
tomb?
I'm gonna
Get more
insight check him. Like,
details.
why is this important right now?
He just wants to know.
You nerding out when I'm having a Okay, whatever.
He's trying to ask you a sincere question. It's like, can I have context? And Willow's like, why do you need to have context about this archaeological find?
Why do you need to know?
Gee, it's not like
Insight.
context informs anything about anything.
I know. Oh, you're right. But I rolled so low on insight, so I don't know if I get to have knowledge.
I don't think you sense any ulterior motives here, is what I'll say.
Okay. It's really hard to roll on that one on a basic conversation. Well, no, that's a lie. That keeps happening.
It's Willow. It's not that difficult, actually.
Yeah.
This does not seem out of the ordinary of Damon just like asking you, like, can I get more details?
Yeah, no, he always does that. Okay. It was in a pirate's tomb.
Damon sort of thinks about it and nods. Makes sense then.
Can show you if we ever survive this. Sorry, if I survive this, since you are so powerful.
I think Damon does like a little sort of stifled nose laugh. So what now?
Willow's still playing with their sword. I'm not sure. Did you read my notes? The ones for Brina. I'm not sure if you poked around.
I'm gonna do a roll for Damon on those notes.
Did you read them?
I think what he says is, I had a glance, but considering they pertained to the murder investigation, I thought it better to keep you some privacy. Plus, I don't want to ask any more questions.
What questions?
I don't want to be asked any more questions.
Right. Willow kind of laughs of... So...
I accidentally overword there. Sorry.
You accidentally what?
I accidentally skipped a word. I don't want to be asked more questions is what I meant to say.
Yeah, no, Willow kind of laughs about it, swishing the sword around. Well, I suppose there's so few questions left to ask. It appears that there is intention to, I don't know, harvest my mind. We'll see how that pans out.
Don't imagine
any
that's an
tips?
easy thing to do.
Well, if you have the magic for it.
Damon raises an eyebrow and is like, well, I don't suppose you want to try and pursue the litigious route.
Like, the law?
Make either an Arcana or History check.
History.
Okay, you... litigious in this case means, like, pursuing a lawyer is as much as you get, but other than that, you're like, huh?
I think Willow goes, huh? But if they think get a lawyer, they're going to start laughing at him. Like a big laugh.
I'm gonna take that as a no.
Why would I pursue a lawyer? I barely have 2 sovereigns to rub together, as you said.
You can still file a court case against malicious enchantment.
Well, I suppose. Yes, we'll finish this in the courts. The pirate courts, which I trust so much. And we'll trust the system to work in our favor. Because that's how things go. No, I don't think I will be pursuing that route just yet, though I have given news of my experience to Miss Brina, to answer your initial question.
Okay, well.
So,
you can
perhaps
take
she
your
will
notes back
suggest.
then.
Keep them. Will is back to kind of swishing around with their sword. The night's not over yet. I may still be in danger.
Are you planning to put yourself in danger?
Not immediately, but the night is young.
I think on that, we will cut over to the room across the hall.
Speaking of danger.
N. You wake up alone with the smell of fire in your lungs.
Yeah, and immediately sits up. Like, it hardly feels like there's a transition, but they know because they're in N's body, which they take into account as they look themselves over and kind of pat down their chest. This is reality. They start tapping at their palm, checking. They're awake. They're awake. Everything's fine, but that was a very vivid dream. Is everything fine? And that's when they start looking around the room.
Make a perception check. Everything seems as you left it when you went to sleep, except of course Willow is not here, and neither is Luca.
Yeah. Well,
It's been about 3-ish hours.
okay, so when is Luca due back? That I should be coming back here. I should have met him.
You've got another hour
All right, Willow's
before
not here.
the changeover.
And like throws off the covers and stands up with a bit of a wobble. It's such a bizarre transition from what almost feels like having been transported back into the past. Now they're awake, and as they're like coming to and processing this memory of Alanis's office, of Edmund and Alonzo and a third person now, just a laugh starts bubbling out of them. They start laughing just incredulously, and there's a weird joy to it too. Alone in their room, that's the only way they know how to process this sudden revelation. And they like turn to the wall as they start grabbing their things, their bag and their coat, and they say to the wall like they're expecting a response. Did you see that?
I saw it.
Yeah. No wonder Alonzo felt familiar. And pulling on their jacket, sorting out their hair. Where's Willow? Grabs the last of the things and goes for the door, throws it open and looks up and down the hallway.
Do we hear that? Do I have to
Make a
roll?
perception check.
Yeah.
Yeah. Willow, you hear
Did we hear
a
the
slam
bubbling
from
laughter?
across. I don't know, but you definitely heard the door slam open across the hall.
Yeah, I think, and like, no, at this point, when they can't see Willow up and down the hall, and I imagine they also glanced at the bathroom to see the door was open, stuck their head in there to make sure Willow didn't like trip into the bathtub and break their neck.
Well.
You know, just gotta be careful. And then,
Yeah.
they're gonna like start marching across the door, like across the hallway to the other door, and start knocking. Like full fist, full forearm.
Yeah, Willow,
Bang,
Willow
bang,
saw
bang.
it coming,
Yeah.
but like, yeah, Willow heard you coming, but still like jumps because of the urgency of it. Gives Damon a bit of a look, tucks the sword away, and then like scurries to the door.
Yeah. You open the door and is there,
There you are.
still bedheaded and a little wild-eyed.
Yeah, but like they're dressed to go.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happened. Willow's gonna say, "Did something?"
Like it's
happen?
Alonzo. And then's gonna like look past Willow and see Damon. Hey, and then's gonna touch Willow's shoulder. I'm gonna borrow this, and I also might want to borrow those health potions you bought before. Thanks. And I'm gonna
Right.
take Willow by the arm and start pulling them into the room across the way.
Just a scurrying back across the hallway.
Yeah.
Damon does not really get a chance to react. He just goes, okay, and watches you slide back.
Just got Willow by the arm. It's pulling them back.
Willow casts like a quick over-the-shoulder look as they like close the door with their other free arm, but like, see you later kind of look. I think to Damon.
Yeah, and Hen's gonna start messaging at this point. They're not talking out loud, but they're gonna message Willow. Alonzo, I know what he is. I know who he is. He is the Nothic. That's why all the transmutation magic. That's why he seemed so familiar that I just couldn't put my finger on it. He's the one, Willow. He was there that night.
Willow, like, you can't see it obviously, but they're like fur prickles all the way across, like, you know, shifter goosebumps.
Yeah. I have to tell Bruna. We have to tell the detective. We have to. Not safe to be close to Warfred, obviously, and it's not safe to be close to Alonzo because he's the main culprit who got me into that situation. There were other people there too. Edmund was there. As someone I don't remember. The point is, if Warfred and Alonzo are working together in any capacity, then this just got a lot worse.
Willow silently hasn't said anything because I don't know what to say, but they nod at that, like they can agree with that at least. Immediately, their mind jumps back to what Damon said that one time. If we are like around people with this kind of magic, then why are we in the same town as them? That pops into their mind as like a, yeah, that is a fact. The Nothic.
But he still didn't see my eye. He still doesn't know I'm the changeling. He just knows he recognizes me. I still have the upper hand. At least in that regard. He doesn't have all his friends here right now, but he does have Warfred. Which I don't know if I would call them friends, but they are collaborating on something, on anything. Even if they're just in the same room. You don't need me to talking. I need to go report this to Brina because, I'm sure you've already figured out Luca might not be in the best position. Ben's gonna, like, start putting on their eye patch and getting ready to go out.
Man, it was like just taking all that on board is kind of like, whoa. There's gratitude there that we didn't approach Edmund head on. Because if Warfred answers to Alonzo and Alonzo answers to Edmund, then that says something about the process of power throughout all of these things and how much danger we're in exactly. But this is not a surprise. It just sucks. Well, it is a bit of a surprise. Okay, Willow's like overclocking a little, but I think seeing N getting ready, Willow will like nod. And Fish Dog isn't here, so I can't do that. I think Willow's just going to like, while N is like scrambling, kind of stop them with like a hand on their shoulder.
Yeah, and stops and looks at Willow.
Can I do one more insight check? I know I don't need to, but oh no, perception check, I guess. Just like how's N
This would
in
be an
general.
insight.
Insight? I was gonna say how is N looking, but let's just try insight again.
There you go.
Just wanted to see.
I love winning sometimes.
I think, like, that's a good way to describe it. N is driven and wants to move and wants to keep moving. Like, N feels propelled by this information. And they're, like, very worried about Luca because Luca's not around. They can see you. They know you're safe for the moment. You've broken the suggestion spell. You're here in the room with them, so they're not worried about you immediately, but they are worried about Luca. They're even worried about Brina. Because, yeah, obviously, Alonso is the Nothic that kidnapped them, that tore into their mind and took out all their secrets. So the idea that the person, the monster that did one of the most horrific things they can remember now to them is in the city and possibly in cahoots with the person we're on a stakeout for. It's making them imagine a lot of scenarios, and instead of dwelling on those scenarios and worrying about them, N wants to move and take action on this information.
Okay, I think Willow's like absorbing the full brunt of that, just looking like a prolonged look at N. And then they're going to gesture with their hand and like inhale very deeply in the sense of like follow along, like take a breath.
Yeah, and like they almost roll their eyes, but in that way where the rolling of the eyes also leads them to turn their body and face Willow. Like, God, I don't want to do this. This is so annoying, but I know I need to do this. So
yeah,
The teen quality of
yeah,
fine.
yeah. I know this is good for me. I will eat my grounding broccoli.
Yeah. Nothing like grounding broccoli to bring you out of an impending anxiety attack or any foolish decision. So yeah, Willow is feeding you the grounding broccoli basically until you seem like you have settled a little, even a little. Not so far that you start crying, because I feel like that's the far end of like, think about it, sit on it for a bit.
Yeah, Dan's trying to avoid the doom spiral, which is the other direction.
Yeah, so Willow is just going to like indicate for as long as it seems appropriate for N to just take a breather.
Probably a minute or so.
Yeah. And they're going to stay like with N for that, which is, yeah, with their like, they might take their hand off N's shoulder eventually to indicate, like just with both hands that they are breathing. They are both breathing because they're both taking this on.
Yeah, processing.
Yeah. And Willow's going to say, I left Fish Dog with Luca. And I will accompany you to Brina. We may as well bring Damon. And we'll see what happens.
Well, if he's bringing the healing potions, then all the better. Guess we better go ask him then. What's our excuse for dragging him to the Metanoia office at midnight past?
That Alonso is a Nothic? Willow says that in a questioning way of like, can we tell him?
Yeah, and looks like visibly hesitant, like they peer towards the wall. He wants Luca as part of his whole entourage, doesn't he? Can we just say Luca's in trouble?
tiny little Luca voice in both of your brains going, but that's dishonest.
Have you met me?
And Willow looks a little. Willow sighs a little when you imply that you don't want to tell him the details. Is it for lack of trust? Of course, this is very sensitive information. I know that it's not just easy to share around, but...
I'd rather have a limited amount of breaches.
Ugh. Willow's got like a...
We don't have time for this. If you want to tell him, just tell him, but we need to go.
Willow turns back to En and does pointedly another deep breath gesture.
Go, do whatever you think is best. You handle Damon, I'll handle Brina like we've been doing this entire time. You know my preference, but... And waves Willow off.
Okay, yeah. I'll go now.
Keep the door open.
Ugh. Is there anything I can roll to try and understand? Like, in my mind, Willow's mind, there is no reason not to tell Damon.
Other than En doesn't want him to know.
Yeah, literally the only thing is En doesn't want him to know, but that is a big thing. Like, ugh. It's, I don't know. Oh, you know what? Fine. I think I found a workaround.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. Yep. Willow's going to knock on Damon's door.
Damon opens the door holding the little pouch of 4 healing potions. Little
Willow
white
kinda
seems in a
glances.
hurry.
Yeah, Willow like glances over their shoulder at En and back at Damon. I was wondering if you could accompany us.
Where to?
Madani Guild.
What for?
The murder mystery you're not involved in.
Right. As just backup, or...
I think Willow kind of explores that thought and then looks back to Damon looking a little... Willow just looks back to Damon and says, for me.
Make a persuasion check and Damon's gonna roll insight.
I'm not very persuasive.
No, but what does Damon see? Why are you trying to convince him? What is the real reason Willow wants him here?
They're in a dangerous situation. Damon helps bring a sense of safety to the situation. Kind of the same thing this whole time. I don't know how well he rolled, but
He rolled very well.
Okay, well then he will... I don't know if he knows this yet, but Willow has been, in the same way as he keeps saying he is not involved in the murder investigation, Willow is also not involved. When En goes to Brina, Willow's going to be on their own. And so Willow's asking to not be alone in that instance.
Damon does a sigh and says, okay. Should I grab my sword?
Might be best.
Got it.
One more question.
Mm-hmm.
Do Nothics have true sight?
Damon's gonna roll an Arcana check.
En's kind of listening, by the way, at this point.
Yeah. No, Willow knows
Probably
they
this
would
whole
have glanced
time.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you say, there's like a moment of hesitation as Damon is like grabbing the sword to tie to his belt, and there's just a moment, and he goes, "Fuck."
En's gonna step out of the room now, like fully close it and start locking up. Well,
Damon's reaction kind of washes over Willow like a confirmation that is both, I was right, and, oh, I was right.
well. I'm sure they can't see through everything. And, like, looks pointedly at Willow's glasses.
Okay, let's get going.
Yeah, En's gonna lead the way at that point, like they're halfway off one foot and down the hallway.
Imagine Willow's close on your tail, and Damon's at
Yeah.
the back.
Yep.
Yep.
You head out at midnight through the quiet streets of Regalport. Distant pockets of light of bars. Places of merriment. As you walk through the city at pace. You get to the Madani Guild office. There's a faint light on inside. Rena must be in.
Well, perfect. And Audrey, and has shifted over to Audrey at that point. Where's Gil and Damon gonna hang out?
Probably
I feel like we hung-
outside.
Yeah. I can see us kind of overshooting it a bit, so it's like we drop Audrey off and then kind of walk to somewhere a little bit less
Isolated?
conspicuous, but like
Right.
very nearby.
Mm-hmm.
Can I do a perception check around, just my usual paranoid perception?
Yep.
See
go
if
ahead.
anyone's around.
You have advantage because Damon is helping you.
Oh, okay, cheers, bro.
Nice.
Oh, solid.
Yeah. Nothing out of the ordinary. No small men lurking in the shadows.
Alright, so, like, Audrey's gonna be like, I'm gonna be able to find you here, right? You know, like, double checking with you
Yeah.
that you're gonna stay put, so I don't have to go
Mhm.
looking
Yeah.
for you, and
Yep.
and Audrey promises, though, she'll come back and inform them of what's going on, if
Mm-hmm.
whatever goes down. Yep.
If she can. Willow gives you another little shoulder pat as you're leaving.
Damon
Audrey,
gives you a nod.
Audrey tips a little invisible hat, like, all this is fine and dandy, and nothing is wrong. And she's gonna scurry off into the night to the Madani office.
You head up to the Madani office, knock on the door. There's a moment of pause, and then you hear shuffling, and Rena opens the door and says, Audrey,
Good, midnight, detective? It's, I know I'm not expected, but, I promise I'll explain everything later. I just have some more information that might be, important for us to know, immediately. Might I come in?
yeah, sure.
Thank you.
You see, Rena has sprawled on her desk the testimony that I think you'd probably recognize Willow's handwriting.
Yeah, so Audrey kind of eyes that as they enter.
Oh.
So, what new information do you have?
Yes, you remember the butler I've been, so keen on tailing. Yes.
Yeah, I recall.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, I'll explain everything later, but, I happen to remember that, well, he's not necessarily humanoid. Have you ever heard of a Nothic, detective?
I'm gonna roll an Arcana check for Brina.
Love you, Brina.
So sorry.
You just woke
Oh.
up?
Nope.
Yeah.
No, never heard of it.
Right. Well, let me see here.
Let me pull up the aberration notes that Willow gave me.
Also in the same handwriting as all of the sheets on her table.
Well, according to my research, they are the result of an affliction or curse that befalls those that attempt to uncover the secrets of the Dalkir for their own power. They were first seen by, or their first known details are the Dakani goblinoids that attempted to understand Dalkir secrets. Wizards, arcanists dabbling esoteric magic in pursuit of immortality, etc., became corrupted by a curse and mutation. Can be killed in conventional ways on the material plane, so that's good. Anyway, the point is they can read minds and they have true sight, and this one kidnapped me 5 years ago, so. This specific one. So the butler... So, to recap,
Audrey, folds the paper.
Alonso Reedfoot is a Nothic, which are once humanoid, now monstrous creatures who were mutated by esoteric knowledge and have true sight and can read minds. And this particular Nothic was involved in the whole tragedy pin theater kidnapping ordeal that I ran afoul of a few years back. Make sense?
Brina is like reeling from this
Yeah, I think Audrey just looks a little manic. Like he's trying so hard here, but...
Okay, so maybe that's not entirely important, as important in this
No.
moment.
That's important information. It's just, it's a lot of information.
Yes.
Especially considering I just got,
More information.
I just got a test, yeah. Your coworker, Gil, dropped off some written testimony.
Mm-hmm.
That's quite a lot. So,
Yeah, so my concern now is Nothics have all these abilities, and I personally know how disastrous being close to one of them can be. And we are also aware of what Warfred is capable of, and we are also aware that Alonso and Warfred are, in some degree, in cahoots. So all that is to say, I'm not entirely sure we should be as close to Warfred's abode as we have stationed Luca.
right.
Is there any way we can check on him, make sure he's all right? I'm sure it's
Yeah, I left Peter on duty there. She sort of pauses, and turns her head as the sudden fluttering of pigeon wings arrives at the window.
Speak of the Fury.
Brina holds out her hand. Peter hops up and coos rapidly, and she says, "Oh, right. Well, it appears that Luca is not currently to be found outside of Mr. Bartosh's abode, so that's bad.
Not
She sort of
ideal.
stops for a second and runs a hand through her hair and is just overclocking, trying to think of what to do right now.
Yeah, I think Audrey's also frozen up because at this point we've gone deeper into a very, very raw end nerve. So Audrey has paled and is just kind of standing there, stalling.
I think we need to prioritize our strategy. The
Yes.
fact that the The butler is a thread we'll definitely need to pursue, and at the very least we can bring him in for questioning, the illegal means, but I think more pressing issue is finding Luca right now.
I agree.
She turns to Peter, and there's like a moment of silent communication, and then the pigeon flies once again out of the window rapidly. I think we'd best head out and go look for him.
Yes, I agree. Sooner the better.
So Brina pulls on her coat and
Yeah. I would like to, if possible, message Willow if we can like get within 100 feet. Don't even have to get close to them, but just like swing around in that direction.
yes,
So
I think that's feasible. Like you can get within range. I don't imagine that Willow and Damon were.
We didn't walk that far away.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I think that's probably within range of your message spell.
Yeah.
Just to like make rapid communication easy.
Yeah. So, and we'll tell Willow basically like they've told Brina everything essentially, and Luca is missing from his station. But they're not gonna like mention the stakeout. Willow's already got that, so they're just saying Luca is missing, and we are going to find him in Warfred's neighborhood. So, if anyone wants to be around, drawing eyes or something, this is paraphrased. Feel
Wait,
free.
so don't say anything. So like, you're gonna go around Wolford's neighborhood.
Yeah, we're going to Warfred's neighborhood. Luca is missing. We are going to Warfred's neighborhood because that was his last known location to try and find him. And it will basically say they're not saying stay back. They're saying if you want to follow, essentially. They're like vaguely hinting.
Just so you know.
Yeah,
this is where we're going.
This is where we're going.
so you know.
Yeah, it has that intent behind it. Not like you can tag along if you want, but like this is where we're going. Neon lights.
Open-ended.
This is where we're going.
Yeah, no, that's fine. And I feel like Willow's going to try and immediately cut off the thoughts that follow. Because...
Well, you have to message them back if you're gonna... They don't automatically happen.
No, I know. Yeah. Willow's going... I think Willow's going to, when you hit the end of your sentence, Willow is trying, not magically, just to compartmentalize that fact, right?
Luca is missing?
Luca is missing, and you guys are going to Wolford's area. Now,
Same, bro.
In the night... Yeah. Earlier in the night, Willow made the choice not to go into that area because it was dangerous. And now you guys are going into that dangerous area. Bad. While Willow is thinking, they're going to try and call Fish Dog back.
Mm-hmm. Is there... There is no exact magical means by which you can communicate with Fish Dog over long distances, is there?
There
isn't.
No, there isn't. So they're not going to try... Okay, let's reword that. Not trying to call Fish Dog back, giving that one final look for, where is Fish Dog? Fish Dog has not returned to Willow.
Yeah.
Which either means that Luca is safe, but we know he's not safe. So it means that Fish Dog is dead. Or Fish Dog is otherwise incapacitated, which is not great. Is there any way for me to track Fish Dog?
It's where you sent it last.
Okay.
And then from there you might be able to try and investigate to track it.
Yep. I can't message N back though, yeah?
You can.
You can reply to N's message.
Yeah, you can reply.
Any limitations on how long? Is it 6 seconds still?
Well, I'll open the thing and look at it. You can have a look at that. But we don't... I usually just, say that N casts it multiple times, because usually N talks a bit longer than that. So,
Oh, yeah.
And we'll keep opening it if it sounds like you're talking and they're within range, because they're used to those messages being long-winded. So, go on.
It's about a few sentences.
Yeah, we're not in a combat situation, so, I usually don't limit it then.
like a flashing Discord call.
Yeah.
Okay, no, Willow's probably going to mention Fishdog hasn't returned, so Fishdog will mark the spot. Maybe.
Good to know. And I guess we would both know there's no way that you could track that. The debris.
And it's like
not
Willow
from
would...
this distance. You would have to go to the last known location and then look around for it.
I think if that's the case, Willow's going to bad. Willow's going to probably try and, like, let's say we're further down the road, like, lead you guys back to where they left Fishdog.
Sure.
You know, like, just kind of starting up the street with Damon. I don't think Willow says it, but they just kind of, like, spring off and start walking at pace.
Yeah.
In the direction of where they would have left Fishdog. Which is unfortunately in Warfred's neck of the woods.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Okay.
Are we approaching stealthily?
And sure will be.
Yeah,
Are we together or are we two separate teams? Like, what's the
I
arrangement
think
here?
I imagine it's two separate teams.
Yeah, okay, just wondering.
Yeah.
Brina and Audrey heading together, and Damon and Willow heading together.
Yeah.
Is Willow Willow or is Willow Gil?
Gil.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm stealthy in the sense of I'm trying not to look like I'm suspicious. So yeah, can I do a stealth roll, or do I need to do a stealth roll?
Yes, please do a stealth roll. Damon will do one too. Cool. Anne and Barina also can do stealth rolls.
Okay.
Decent. Willow, as you slink through the back alleys, Damon stays close behind you, equally quiet. He doesn't need to ask you to know that something bad is happening, and best to keep up. Willow, roll me an investigation check with advantage because Damon is helping. Cool. So, you head to the last known location of Fishdog. And then a little bit away, and you see parts of a broken fin discarded in the gutter.
Shit. Willie bends down to pick it up and just like turns it over. Is there any of the rest of it around?
You think it may have been like chucked in a bin or taken away or something like that. And this is one of the scraps that was left behind.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Because that also means that whoever...
Yeah.
Whoever's responsible for taking Luca also knows that Fishdog was on him, which is Willow's, evidently. And if it's Warfred, then Warfred knows that Fishdog is Willow's because Warfred saw me rob Moradale's. So, but if it's not Warfred, then, well, it's just unpleasant because Fishdog's dead.
Yep.
What were you going to say?
It looks like whatever broke Fishdog was like a crushing force. Judging by how this... this would be part of the investigation check, is like...
Oh, okay.
From this scrap of fin, you can tell that like something crushed Fishdog. And
like a mage
part of
hand?
its fin. No. This would be...
like a mosquito.
Yeah! No, I'm imagining it being held and then like crushed like people holding hamburgers too tightly. Anyway, sorry, Zeke. Back to what you were saying.
It looks like it was attacked violently, and when Fish Dog lost consciousness, this piece of its fin hit the ground, bounced, and shattered. Which is annoying because that's going to cost money to repair, on top of the already terrible situation of Fish Dog is dead, Luca is missing.
Yeah. I imagine its glow is kind of powered down too, so it's just kind of this
Yeah.
vaguely translucent. Looks kind of like a little cracked pebble.
Yeah.
That sucks. And I can't tell what kind of magic it was or what kind of force killed it other than crushing. And it bounced like a phone screen.
Yeah.
Okay. Shit.
So I would like to cut over to Anne and Brina, who are searching for Luca.
Yep.
Make an investigation check.
With advantage, or just with Brina, or are we making our own?
I think Brina is making her own investigation check.
Gotcha.
Ooh, not bad. Oh, not
Nice.
bad.
This is Brina's wheelhouse. So.
Yep.
Yes.
So she looks around and investigates some of the alleyways around. Peter is flying overhead, doing a circuit. You find where Luca was supposed to be stationed, sort of the general area. No sign of a struggle here. But after a minute or so of searching, Brina follows Peter and finds sort of like a scuff mark and like a little blood stain on the floor. Not a huge amount, but definitely like something has happened here.
Yeah. So Andre looks at that blood stain and then starts like peering around. If there's any more blood or any indication of where the bleeding individual went, what direction, anything like that.
With Brina's help, you find that like there's a few little blood splatters that get dragged around to sort of a cellar door, and Brina says, "This is a maintenance building that heads into the sewers."
No.
Shoot.
That a problem?
And is there a lock to it?
Yeah, it's locked from
Yeah,
this side.
I'm gonna start looking at it and thinking about picking it. Pulling out my lockpicks.
Brina sort of goes back to the site and starts like ritual casting detect poison and disease.
Can I try
on
to
these scrap of blood?
lockpick in the meantime?
Sure, give me a thieves tools check.
No.
Yeah, you are able to open the lock to this door.
Pretty
It's
well
not
under
that
pressure.
hard. And do a quick glance down. This does lead into maintenance tunnels for the sewers. It would be a bad idea to try and search the sewers all around.
Yeah. Do I see any more blood?
But make an investigation check.
Nice.
I have dark vision.
Yes, you do. So you are not impeded by darkness. There's like maybe a smudge, but it seems like the bleeding has stopped at this point.
The trail ends, so it doesn't seem like
yeah.
feasible that we could follow it at all.
It seems like it would be very, very difficult to follow it from this point of view. Especially because, like, the sewers under Regalport are... Sewers under most cities are labyrinthine at best.
Yeah.
It seems like this would be a good way to waste a lot of time trying to find and follow a trail.
Yeah.
When there is not a clear one. So... But you get the sense, like, there's no sign of a body being disposed of here.
Mm-hmm.
There's no sign of, like, further violence,
yeah.
at least. So it's likely that because they entered through, like, a service tunnel, and didn't just, like, dump him into the harbor, essentially, this was not a killing so much as a kidnapping.
Yeah, I've got some thoughts.
So you can be...
Go ahead.
And also because the blood hadn't dried yet, you know it was recent.
Okay, so I'm gonna return to Brina. I know she's casting, so I'm gonna wait for her report before I start jabbering.
Yeah, she says, there's that weird poison. Again. No mercury this time in it, but there's some of the stuff that we found at Kelson's case, the Dream Lily, and
The concoction.
that weird other thing. Yeah.
Well, don't suppose we have any way to figure out exactly what tunnels go where on that thing, because my thought is that the blood is pretty recent. It doesn't seem like there's any body or further struggle. So I think Luca was taken to a second location. But where would the kidnapper be comfortable?
That's the real question, isn't it?
You think he'd go back to his apartment?
It's possible. I can, I can try and cast a spell, see if I can find something of Luca's. It'll take a while, and, that's only got a limited range, but...
But we might be able
Judging.
to track him?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it is the spell Locate Object.
Are we locating Luca's arm? It's an object.
I was going to say Luca's Reliquary.
That works too.
But that works.
I'm also like, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking about Willow's Wild Hunt senses.
Yeah.
Would that be able to track this? But I don't know where Willow is.
Willow's in the neighborhood.
I might end up...
You're probably within message range still.
Yeah. Can I, like, try to pick that up?
Yeah. I imagine, like, you've coordinated enough, like, with sort of glances and sending messages back and forth of, like, what's going on.
Yeah.
I think you're vaguely... Because I'm making a point not to communicate too much. So, but you can probably remain vaguely confident that we're in the same neck of the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think distinctly because Anne is thinking about the possibility of Wild Hunt assisting in this kind of search, they're going to send a brief report to Willow about what they found.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're waiting for Brina to cast the spell. And
did they say where they found it?
Yeah, they'll probably like name the streets.
Yeah. It's like a block or two away.
Yeah.
At most. It's not very far away from where you found the shattered remains of Fish Dog.
Yeah. In the meantime, I think Audrey's going to like investigate the surrounding area as much as she can, because there's nothing else she can do. She doesn't necessarily want to step out of Brina's line of sight, but she doesn't want to stand still either. So she's just gonna try and find something to investigate. She might go down to the cellar, not the cellar, but the staircase a little bit to like look around, but not run off on her own.
Yeah. Yep.
Can we send Peter to the apartment to see if he's home?
Yeah, let me do that.
Thanks.
Oh, he like pokes out of the cellar, says that, goes back in.
Brina sends Peter off.
Can I do a perception to see if I see Peter fluttering by?
Sure. Make a perception check.
Heads down, I guess.
Well, good thing you have company.
Oh.
Damon points up to the pigeon fluttering overhead. Heading towards Warfred's apartment.
Okay, putting that together, and found him missing. They're now investigating Warfred's apartment. There's like a suspicion that Luca may be there, or that, well, I guess we're checking that Warfred's home. I think Willow's piecing together from a distance without trying to talk to you guys. They're also, I imagine them kind of like crouching on the floor, trying to look for any other evidence. They're going to probably stand up and like ask Damon if there's anything to detect about the shard. The fish dog fin.
Yeah.
Willow will just say,
could you have a look at this, please?
Yeah, sure.
And also idly gesture around to like if there's anything in this neck of the woods that he can detect.
Sure. We can do an investigation check. Actually, no, he'll do perception. Damon looks around. What reasonable evidence would there be for this?
From the fin?
Yeah. I think the fin and also like the area, I think it's like looks like it was attacked by a spell. Some kind of crushing damage or something, I don't know. It's hard to tell from just this fragment alone. Damon looks around. He did well on his roll. It's just like there's not much to find.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Hey, evidence that there is no evidence is still evidence.
Yeah.
Or proof that there's no evidence.
Yeah.
As long as, I'm not missing anything.
It's more like can't find footprints on like dry cobblestones, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's fine. It also like highlights where we're not looking. So N has pointed out that there's something there. Peter is flying over to Warfred's, and I think might be pertinent for us, or at least Damon, to touch base with Brina. I think Willow is going to deliberately, though, kind of step back when they're approaching where they imagine Brina and N to be. They're like deliberately trying to keep themselves separate a little bit, not so much that they get kidnapped, but just like enough.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think Damon is like, I'm not finding anything, and I don't know exactly what I'm looking for, but seems like now might be a good time to ask for a warrant.
Does he mean a warrant to investigate Warford's house?
Warford's, yeah.
Now, is there a reason to believe that a warrant will be successful?
It certainly puts pressure on him. I don't think there's reason to believe that it wouldn't be successful.
It's not the kind of situation where it's like, why would I need a warrant? I have an open invitation to his house, because that's just...
I mean, you haven't told him that.
Yeah, like, so I'm checking... Willow's thinking...
It's more like it's like a warrant will take time. And if you want to get things done quickly, and if you want to...
missing now.
Yeah, Luca is missing now.
Possibly
you don't know where he is.
In danger.
Possibly in danger. You have high reason. You have a gut feeling that Warfred is probably involved.
It is in his neighborhood.
Yep.
And I had a reason to believe... sorry. There was something else. I forgot. I guess the spell, in a way. The fact that the fish dog has been hit by a spell.
Yeah.
Crushed and grabbed and taken. I think when Damon asks about the warrant, Willow's going to say...
I suppose what is the need for a warrant when I have an open invitation?
Damon sort of raises his eyebrow. You want to go play bait?
Willow's gonna do... Can I just do like an intelligence check or something to see if there's anything I've missed about this?
Sure.
Or anything where I can glean about it?
The fact that, like, Fish Dog was specifically taken and specifically targeted is pretty incriminating.
For me? Or for who took it?
Whoever took it. Because, like, if it was just a vandal or a thief, if it was just a vandal, they probably wouldn't have taken it with them. They probably would have just thrown it in the trash. If it was a thief trying to steal technology, they probably wouldn't have broken it so sloppily. They would have tried to catch it. So this is somebody who knew that Fish Dog was likely a spy of some sort, or sent to gather information, and specifically sought to take it out of commission and not leave a trace behind it. Also, I think that it's not unreasonable for Willow to maybe not magically be able to track Fish Dog, but using their keen senses as a shifter and having their, like, sort of signature on Fish Dog, there would be a way for you to trace it. You could also try and like detect a scent on the actual fin itself, because I don't think we did that.
Yeah, no. That's like the way I imagine it is Fish Dog is powered by my magic. So there is that kind of like sense, even if it isn't like a tangible thing, like a trail, but there is that sense of like that energy, I guess. But also I'm imagining the kind of like marks that something gets, like the gunpowder smell, you know?
Yeah.
But like a magical sense.
Yeah.
there's that. But again, my intelligence check was more so along the lines of like, if I am thinking of going to his house right now, is that like, we're not going to say is that the smartest thing to do, but is it a reasonable thing to do at the moment, considering all the pieces that
it is a. I think you might need. I think this will be answered in a second, as Peter has just done a perception check, and the a quick flyby of Bartosh's home has shown that there are some lights on.
So I'm seeing it fly back.
Yes.
Or-
so this is information that N is getting
and-
from
Ah,
Brina.
yes.
Yeah.
There are some lights on at Bartosh's home.
Yeah. I think that also like has Audrey ready to
And-
move.
But there's no visibility in any of the rooms of his personage.
So an illusion spell is blocking the windows. Or
No,
curtains.
it's like the lights are on, but you can't see him in any of the rooms that have windows.
Yeah, so he's in his murder
So he's-
basement.
he lives in the basement, so the whole thing is a murder
Yeah,
basement.
the deeper.
Wilfred opening yet another basement in his basement.
Well, it's,
Haha!
And also, at the same time, Brina gets feedback and is like, yeah, I think Luca might be in the area of Mr. Bartosh's apartment. And I don't like our odds of leaving him alone for too much longer.
Neither do I.
The blood kind of been older than an hour. I think the quicker the move, the better it is.
Well, it'd be. Are we busting down the door, or do we want to do this more subtly?
and it's like Audrey's like peering to the side. They're thinking of there are other ways we could do this. Namely,
I think our best bet for avoiding any unwanted complications is probably to call in the guard. Show a bit of force. You might not have much affection for the law, but you gotta say that the intimidation factor is pretty meaningful.
How quickly are they going to be able to get here?
That depends, but you could probably send Peter and they can muster up a squad in maybe 20-odd minutes.
Audrey shakes her head a little bit and looks down the alleyway.
That's 20 minutes for me to try to get inside.
She's gonna kind of turn and start to walk.
I think before you do that,
at the-
Brina grabs your shoulder and says, Miss Audrey, I don't think that's a good idea.
I'm not standing here for 20 minutes, waiting for Luca to be killed.
I know. But we gotta be smarter about this. Willow, you can interject.
I would say, like, parallel to the scene, I'm imagining Willow's like watching. Peter hasn't come back yet, I figure, because Brina's watching through him. And Willow's thinking to themselves with regards to what Damon said about you planning to be bait. And I feel like, you know how N had that moment earlier where they were like, we're wasting time, and Willow forced them to like slow down and breathe.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that they thought N was wrong, especially now. It's just that they needed to breathe about it. So I do think that they are pausing and thinking about it, but they actually agree with N, even from afar. So they're kind of arriving at a similar conclusion. And I think after like a long pause of consideration.
I will say Peter is flying back because Brina has called him back to potentially call for backup.
I think Willow's going to follow, like, watching Peter return to where they know Brina must be, and then, like, continue around and look at Damon. And they're kind of like, they give him a long look, like they are considering their actions properly, before saying,
I believe our fine detective might need a way into that apartment.
Right. So you're gonna open the door.
Willow nods and then takes a deep breath and says to him,
If you could please inform her.
He nods. Try not to die.
That's the goal.
And Damon heads off towards Anna and Brina. Willow, you head to Warford's apartment. It is the middle of the night. And you ring the
way
bell.
there. On the way there, I would like to ritually cast Detect Magic so I have it handy and ready.
Okay.
And I ring the bell. Let me know. Do I hear him coming?
Make a perception check.
I guess rather, what do I hear?
You wait for a moment, and then the door opens, and Warford Bartosz is standing there. The hour is late. I thought you were no longer coming.
Willow says, man, the wait at the door when he was coming up the stairs is like the longest wait. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
When he greets them, Willow says,
I changed my mind.
Please, come in. I'm afraid dinner is a bit cold, but I can warm something up. Make an insight check.
That is, yeah.
sorry, I was meant to too. I've just been,
He is unsettled.
insight and whatever I need to do to say my Detect Magic too.
He seems calm, poised. You follow him in and let Detect Magic sort of peer through. You get the first layer of sort of general illusion magic makeup. And then you see the aura of what appears to be a magical item that he is wearing on his head.
Wearing on his head? In what way?
Just there appears to be a magical item that he is wearing on his head that is just hidden below the illusion magic as you stare at the back of his head as he moves around the kitchen. Give me an Arcana
Pardon
check. And also, can you post the description for Detect Magic?
Will do.
I think Damon arrives now over to Brina and Anne, and says, or rather, Brina and Audrey, and says, excuse me, ladies.
Oh. Sarah
Our mutual
Dantego.
friend has accepted the dinner invitation and is buying us some time if you wanna call for backup.
Sounds like a perfect distraction, then.
Okay, so.
And
Just as an aside, too. Oh,
Mhm.
Audrey is
Willow was
implying.
also Go first, you first.
Audrey's implying she's gonna go and try to sneak inside right now. That's what
Ugh.
she's saying.
What I was implying before for Damon to tell Brina was send Peter in. So just so we know, like, they can still make the choice, but Willow was suggesting, like, I'll open the door if Peter wants to get in to investigate. So that's up to you guys.
It does not make sense for Peter to fly in as a pigeon directly through the front door.
Oh yeah, I know. Right. Is Peter just a pigeon?
Peter is currently a pigeon, yes, and it does take time to change forms.
Okay.
Peter is currently a pigeon because that is his most useful form.
No, sorry. I had it in my head that Peter could change, so never mind then.
Not instantly, not instantaneously. Yeah. That takes a significant amount of time, which is fine for, like, if you have it set up, but not on a dime.
Yep. Then the reasoning will be then that time is crunching because inevitably, if Wilfred is under suspicion, then Brina's going to come to his door. Eventually, in some way. The law will arrive at his door.
Yeah. Brina is like... If Gil can keep Mr. Bartosz distracted, we can at least try looking through some windows. I can send Peter off to get backup, and Damon says, I'll call in the guard. Concerned citizen, with...
Blood! And Audrey's gonna point at the bloodstain.
There's blood in the neighborhood.
Presumed assault, possibly kidnap. It's fine. I've got it. You keep, your assistant on a leash for now. Damon gives you a little salute and wanders off, and Brina goes, well, I guess that's my decision made.
Audrey gives a little apologetic shrug, but then starts making her way towards Warfred's apartment.
Yeah, you'll circle around the back. Give me a stealth check.
Alright.
Not great. Not great.
Hope N balanced it out.
Warfred has disadvantage on his perception check because Willow is distracting him.
Can I actually, like, mention how I'm distracting him before this rolls?
Yep.
Okay. Because I think after his initial opening the door and all that, Willow is going to kind of recover from their nerves. They were feeling really nervous when they approached, but they are trying to settle. They are in the room now. And he's wearing something magical, which is intriguing. So,
yeah,
I think Willow's going to start talking to him.
Yeah, I would say from that detect magic and the... Did you make that Arcana check? No, you didn't. Could you give me that Arcana check right now?
Yeah.
Good. So, from your Arcana check, you see that the illusion magic is either a spell being cast from the magical item or something that is specifically disguising the magic item, although not completely. Now that you have, like, an extended amount of time to actually look very closely, you can see that it's always been there. I think the reason why you see it this time around is because the illusion magic on his face is done more sloppily.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, my other thought was like it was thicker a layer of magic over this magic, so
It looks like this has like just been quickly thrown up, like probably in the time that it took to get him to the door. This has been like it's weakened in some way.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Because that's the benefits too of visiting him now at the end of a day, when I know he's tired, is that his defenses are slightly down. So yeah. And I know that this thing, sorry, what you said is it's either causing or, what did I learn from that, sorry?
So either the illusion magic that is disguising the magical item that he is wearing on his face is cast from the magic item. So it's like he's wearing a mask or a headpiece or something. Basically what you see is like you see the seams in the illusion magic where it is not only on his face, but you can now see the sort of connective parts where it is like on the bridge of his nose and like around his hairline.
Okay. Useful to know. And I think that's going to bolster Willow to actually start talking to him in some kind of way. They're going to start with like small talk. Say,
I don't know what came over me before. I hadn't intended to come and then suddenly remembered that I'd made other arrangements. By the time they finished, of course, it was too late. But we're both young. I've seen you skulking around at night. You know that I'm always up late. So I figured it was worth a visit.
Indeed. I was rather hoping that we would be able to finish our little wager from previously.
Well, I'm here now. I wouldn't mind that myself.
It was quite unfortunate that our schedules kept clashing.
But I am here now.
Indeed. By the way, I think you might have dropped something of yours. And Bartosz, as you are... Where are you standing sort of in relation to his apartment?
I'm in, yeah?
Yes, you're inside, like he's in his
I
kitchen.
kind of imagined us around the kitchen. Does he have like an island?
Yes.
Because I kind of imagined us on opposing sides of the kitchen.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
In which case, like, as you are sort of standing to the side of a seat, Warfred drops the broken shell of Fish Dog onto the table.
Willow glances at it. And in a kind of jokey voice, says,
That's not mine.
they are obviously joking, and it's a eye roll to follow. Obvious over all the head roll. No, say,
That is some expensive damage you've done.
An accident, I assure you.
Well then, I suppose there's no point keeping this up.
Willow's gonna drop their mask.
Does that mean I win?
No, not at all. Willow stretches now, like they're finally free from their mask. They're gonna take off their hat too, just to wear the just wearing their bandana now. I think they're gonna toss their hat like next to Fish Dog. Yep.
You throw it down on the counter.
I believe that the parameters for our original arrangement have... perhaps we've outgrown them? In fact, if we were going to return to our wager, I'd consider upping the ante.
Do elaborate.
My thought is this. Will is like pacing around his room a little. 3 questions. Same rules. No lies, since we both seem to struggle with that on the regular. If I lose, I remove what remains of my mask. And Will is gesturing to their glasses now. And then they gesture to him. If you lose, you remove what remains of yours.
Interesting. Why not?
Will nods.
Shall
I
we
think they're
take
gonna
this
glance
to my
Oh,
studio once more?
May as well.
Okay.
For old
had-
time's sake. Da 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 da.
In the meantime, and make a perception check with advantage.
A
Not great.
not the best.
I think you're trying to keep low, looking through one of the windows.
I'm also looking to see if any of the windows open.
Give me another Thieves' Tools check.
Ooh.
Can I jimmy any of them open with a knife?
Yeah, I think you can. I think you can jimmy open the
And-
bedroom window.
Brina has detect magic, right? Because I might also, like, if she's
Yeah.
with me, I might be like, make sure there's not a magical alarm on these windows before I start fucking around.
Yeah.
So I'll check that first, and then I will get the window open. Assuming there is no magic on the...
I'm gonna do a quick roll for Brina. I think she's gonna do an investigation check. Okay, 17.
Nice.
I think while you're looking around, Brina is like, hey, away from the window. I found something better.
Oh, okay. And Audrey puts the knife away and blinks off after Brina.
She indicates to you another one of the like service tunnels down to the sewers.
Oh, hello there.
Except this one has signs of being obviously disturbed recently.
Well then, don't mind if I do.
And you can use that Thieves' Tools check to open that up.
Again, assuming there are no magical alarms attached to this thing.
Nope.
I
Just a
will
mundane lock.
deftly unlock that little lock. Jiggle it around and pop it open.
Yeah. I think Brina's like, I'm gonna send Peter to keep an eye on what's going on inside.
Sounds smart.
I think this might be the hidey hole that our suspect has been using the most often.
Well, lucky us.
I'm gonna make I'm gonna look around. I'm gonna open the thing up and look around to see if there's any traps, because Anne always looks around for traps whenever they open a door.
Yeah, make a perception check with advantage.
No tripwires or anything.
Oh,
Nice.
Let's go.
We're clear and free.
what you find is like a simple silver wire of an alarm spell that was placed to alert anybody if they went down a certain path, but if you see it, it's easily avoidable.
Ah, silly.
Steps over it.
Watch your footing there, detective.
She nods.
Like, it's the simplest, easiest trek in the world. Audrey's gonna make her way inside, downstairs, whatever contraption we're dealing with here.
Yeah. Basically, what you find is like there's a bit of a false wall that leads closer to the surface instead of going deeper into the sewers.
Hmm.
There's like
Alright.
this sort of... It's like maybe a tunnel that was like superfluous and blocked off at one point, but somebody has modified it in recent years.
So Audrey kind of maybe knocks on this false wall a bit. Is there a obvious way to open it or move it or?
I think
circumvent it?
it's like the obvious way with that 20 perception check. You can see you can just slide it to the side.
Oh,
Like Audrey knocks on it and like then notices that it can be slid, slides
Yeah.
it. Of course, always.
It's like literally it's basically painted to look like a dead end,
No.
and in the low light, most people would not think to look at it.
classic.
It just looks like, you know, like a regular barricade, but then like you push it and there's more tunnel behind it.
Yeah, Audrey's gonna like push it aside and present the passage to Brina.
Welcome to the theater, detective. I hope you like props.
She's gonna keep moving.
Okay. And we will cut back to Willow and Warfred.
I imagine, sorry, Willie's going to kind of plonk into their old seat like they are returning to their original position. Bit more energy about them this time. Though they might mention to Warfred, you aren't going to offer refreshments?
Would you accept them if I did?
No, the mask is off. Actually, Willow's going to also dig around in their pocket. I do imagine that, you know, earlier we were talking about them getting a wine bottle from
the hotel room. You
from
have like a
home.
mini.
Yeah, so Willow brings that out of their pocket and say, for dinner.
How gracious of you.
Willow gives a big grin and hands that to him.
He accepts it, puts it on the table. Prepares
Is he
2
going into a
glasses.
separate room to prepare the glasses?
No, he was.
Okay.
It was like he'll prepare refreshments in the kitchen. 2 glasses for the wine. Brings them into his studio. Gestures for you to follow. Places them on the table. And sits across from
Now
you.
I can plonk into my chair. Willow kind of idly rubs their fingertip around the edge of the glass, not doing anything with it yet. They're just having a look.
Would you like to go first?
Well, first some preamble. Or are you in a hurry?
It is late. And you seem
are
eager
sleepy.
to get
Not,
to the point.
I suppose. We have been dallying for quite a while.
Indeed.
And I suppose it's quite clear why I'm here, though I'm not entirely sure of what you think of that. Or at least why I came to you to begin with. Yes?
If you would like to explain yourself.
You don't have, Willow tilts their head, any theories?
If you are offering for me to elaborate. You just seemed eager to speak.
It's nice to be out of the mask.
I'm sure.
I guess we should play about it. Willow ponders. Pardon me. Sorry, one moment.
I think Warfred is like slowly and contemplatively stroking his beard.
Am I allowed to insight his vibe?
Sure.
Like how he's responded to me talking to him as me in this way? Who I am? Oh, has he recognized my face? That was the freaking thing I was meant to insight as soon as I took my mask off. How did he react to seeing my face?
I would say intrigued to see your face, but not surprised. Not like this was a big reveal. It was like this already. I thought this was your trump card, and like you've already played it.
Yeah. Good. Okay. And his vibes now? Do I need to roll separate for that?
No, you just rolled an insight check. The impression you get is like patient, I guess.
Like he's
but
got
just
time.
barely.
Oh. Okay.
Like he can see you have something planned.
Yeah, that's quite clear. Pretty much from the moment I found Fish Dog, it's like, well, the jig is up. He knows I'm involved. It's just a matter of like how.
Yeah.
Willow might mention, it's safe to say that you still have some curiosities about me, yes?
He nods.
Yet unanswered questions. And I have curiosities about you. So I suppose we should cut to the chase.
Indeed.
Willow's
What
going to
questions do you have for
raise
me?
a glass to him to clink first.
He sedately raises his glass in a toast.
Willow's not going to drink it. While I'm placing it down, though, can I put my finger in it?
Sure. Give me a... If you're trying to do this unnoticed, sleight of hand check.
Yeah. Whether he notices or not at this stage. You know what? Leave it. I'll just
Okay.
toast a little bit, and then we'll do that later, in case I wildly fail. Alright. Okay. We should flip a coin to see
Warfred
who
takes a sip.
starts. He does. Okay. Cool.
It was your bottle of wine.
I know. I realized as soon as I offered it to him, like, hope he doesn't give it to us. And he did. Fucker. Like, damn it. It's fine. Okay. Well, he at least trusts that I didn't poison him. Actually. Fuck, sorry.
What question
Can I be
would you
annoying?
like to... What do you want to do?
I think Willow's gonna smell the wine and make like a little bleh face and say, "Is this nice?"
It's drinkable.
It smells yuck. Pardon me, do you have anything else? Or am I already imposing?
What would you like?
What would you offer?
Alcohol, water, something else perhaps?
Surprise me, Willow says, sort of handing back the wine. Sorry, you can keep that for cooking.
Very well, then. Sure. He goes, and you hear the sound of a tap running.
Bitch, give me tap water.
Yeah. Two can be rude.
Wow.
Oh, this wine I brought you as a gift is kind of gross. Can you give me something else? Here's tap water.
Oh,
The
he's
fight
so
has
funny.
begun.
He's genuinely like, that's so annoying of both of us.
I think there is at least a wedge of lemon in it.
Oh, how nice. He looks at it. Oh, perfect. Thank you. Anyway, the game. Last time we flipped a coin on who would start.
He left for like a minute.
Oh, can I look around the room then? That's what I was trying to get him to do.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I thought you
Make
meant he was. Okay.
in either investigation or perception check. Perception check is if you are just looking. Investigation is if you are poking at things.
I'm gonna, while he's out of the room, start investigating.
Okay.
God, your modifier, man.
I know, right?
It's a good thing you have such a high modifier, but as you are quickly rummaging around, you where are you what are you looking for specifically, if anything?
Anything interesting? And I'm not doing it so like pardon me. If it was very invasive, I wouldn't be doing it, but it is like the kind of nosiness that you could expect from someone when you leave the room and they're left idle.
Mhm.
That kind of nosiness. So whatever I can look at that level. So I'm not going to go through books or anything, but like if there are
Mhm.
like, sorry, I'm not going to go through drawers
Mhm.
at a distance, but if there is stuff around, I'll definitely look.
Okay. I think you find some canvases and some loose sketches available. I think you see some sketches of the scene of Tarek Elham suspended from that statue. And you also see some preparatory sketches of what he intends to do for your piece. Which I need to just quickly find.
Oh.
Not the actual sketches, but my notes on it.
Hmm. Still, oh.
The preparatory sketches is a cutaway of your mask as Gil to your skin as Willow to the interior where your brain case would be.
Brain case? Like...
Yes, like the interior of your skull.
Ah.
There seems to be a preparatory sketch of that, and the interior seems hollow.
Ouch.
So that's what you see in the moment while Warford is
It's not
going
a
to
very
prepare
nice
your...
artwork.
No.
I'd get my money back.
I'm sure it looked cool.
Yeah.
It is kind of rude, but yeah. Does he come back while I'm still investigating, or?
I think you hear him well enough to move back to where you were.
Yeah.
Before you get caught, unless you want to be
Yeah.
found.
No, I think that's fine. The reason I inconvenience him is so that I can pry without being busted. I can.
Mhm.
It's just a matter of if he did, then it's like, well, I can work with that. But I'll sit back down.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So-
Okay.
You have your glass of lemon water.
I think Willow is going to like pull the lemon out of it. In doing so, they have dipped their like finger in it. Just
Sure.
in doing that, just to double check if there is any poison in it.
Okay. Give me a sleight of hand check.
Well, he certainly sees my freaking index finger go into my water.
Mm-hmm. So, you said you had questions for me?
I thought we had questions for each other.
I was merely being polite as a host and offering you the opportunity to go first. Unless, of course, you would like me to do that.
If you're being polite. Then I suppose I will. It helps to explain why I'm here at all.
He gestures for you to continue.
So, Willow swims their hand around a little, and compared to Cognor, their body language is a lot more casual. Like they're leaning back in their chair, kind of swiveled in their seat, idly toying with the glass of tap water. Did anything get revealed from the poison tab, by the way? Or are you keeping that on ice for a reason?
I think there is no poison.
Okay, makes sense. So Willow's saying, so I assume at this stage you are aware that you are under some scrutiny. From me, at least.
Indeed.
It is a faint scrutiny, and indeed this scrutiny sort of precedes anything that's recently happened. So I suppose I could say that there was recently a death. Not Tarek's, but one that preceded it, at a flop house. It was reported on in the newspapers. And upon investigation, there was some red paint at the scene which matches in pigment to that of the posters, which I suspect you painted, of course, I said that earlier. I'm sure if I took a sample of your survivor's artwork, it would have the same pigment, and I'll admit, I've gotten some very gruesome images in my mind regarding how paint finds itself at the scene of murder, or an untimely death, as the papers might have said. But perhaps you'd have more insight. So, we'll start with that. Are you responsible for the death of Kay Kelson?
I am. Previously, you had asked me if I had ever killed for my art. And I replied at the time, honestly, no. Not for my art's sake.
Then why?
Call it a personal investigation. Mr. Kelson's death was unfortunate, but more likely than not the result of an overdose. He was a veteran prone to intense suffering and pain, and, well, I merely offered him the means by which to escape it. I assume you are familiar with the narcotic dream lily? A curious plant, imported from Sarlona. Very popular in Sharn.
You seem to know all about what is very popular in Shan. So much so that you've brought it here.
Where do you suppose Sharn gets its supply of Dream Lily?
Of course. I have it the wrong way round.
Regalport is a prosperous city. The biggest port and the nearest stop from far-distant Sarlona to import to the rest of Corvair. If one were interested in exotic substances, the Pirate Exchange is easily one of the best places to find such things. But I'm sure you know all about that.
Willow was considering what he was saying, like absorbing what he's saying. And then nods. I do. But it is nice to have confirmation. Well, not nice, but it is useful. Willow ponders. Imagine they're sitting back in their chair and like have their legs crossed now and they're sort of drumming their fingers on their knee. Just ponderously. He killed Kelson like as a personal investigation, is what he said?
Something like that. He implied that there was something he was inquiring about. He said he was responsible for his death, but the way he phrased it implied that like he gave Kelson the means of his undoing.
Yeah. Handed him the rope, so to speak.
Yes.
As a grace, like as a gracious thing to free him from his suffering, kind of. That's the implication. I'm sorry, I was just reeling from the fact you just said yes. So I'm just like backtracking through that information.
Mm-hmm.
And did you find what you wanted? From Kelson?
Oh, in a manner of speaking, yes. But I would consider it insufficient information.
Of course.
Here's a question for you. What did you think when you discovered Tarek Elham's body?
In general?
However you want to answer that question.
Did I think? Le ponders. A loaded question. As you know, I did speak to him earlier that evening. I wasn't... There was an air of dread about the evening. But I wasn't prepared for that. In retrospect, I wish I were. There were so many instances that evening where I thought to myself that I should possibly invite Tarek to sit with me, a sense of danger in general. Or perhaps a mutual sense of understanding of the dangers that we might face. But of course I was not so forward-facing at that time. Well, except for to you. And whoever else may be able to see through my mask. So what I thought at the time, I suppose, was remorse that I had not done more to prevent this supposedly inevitable tragedy.
Your arrogance is astounding.
Coming from you, that seems... Will it clears their throat? In what way?
All this time, you've been pursuing me, trying to find out if I'm the murderer, putting yourself directly in harm's way, deliberately avoiding contact with a detective, withholding your information, so that you can find a decisive piece of evidence and deliver the answer into the hands of the law. Such blatant disregard for your own pitiful self.
Well, that's not entirely
All you can
true.
think about
Okay,
is
still talking.
how you are an impartial observer, immune, unaffected. You are a savior, a helper.
Pardon me, are you finished?
By all means, if you want to interrupt.
Well, it's just... First of all, you claim that I want to bring this information back to the law. That's not true. Yes, I am obviously looking for evidence that you killed Tarek Elham, because I am relatively certain that if you did not do it yourself, that you are involved, hence lying about your neck, hence your general demeanor about everything, and your cocky attitude, and your awful personality. But the other part that you were saying, the impartial observer, I understand now why it seems that you see me as some manner of mirror, because I swear you just described yourself. Mr. Impartial, Mr. Observer, did you not help Kelson to his death? And I half expect that you helped Tarek to his as well. Quite obviously. Are you aware that you've done that, or does your arrogance precede reason in that regard?
The truth is stranger than you know.
That's why I'm here.
But I believe it is still my turn.
Is it? Didn't I answer your question?
Insufficiently. Because all this time you have been diverting from the fact that you are as much of a victim as any Siren, as any who faced the tragedy of war. I have been born fortunate enough to not feel its consequences, but even I am not immune to suffering, as you seem to think you are. Even when you offered yourself up on a silver platter, hoping to entice me with your trauma, you were unable to face it. Do you know what it took to peel away the mask of your stoicism?
Can Willow do an insight check?
Sure. He knows something that you don't. And he clearly thinks he has the upper hand on you.
A little N voice of erased memories echo in the back of your head.
No, that echoes for the audience.
Not even on a dirty 20.
No. Nope.
I think Willow's... Unfortunately, the mask is off, so he can see that they are listening and that they have paused. They were taking on all that he was saying earlier with a kind of like cavalier, like dismissiveness, like, yeah, whatever. But even the victim thing, because Willow's like, I said I was a victim. Like the first thing you asked was how I was who I was in terms of the war, and Willow was like, a victim. But this particular statement, they understand that it is loaded, that he's implying something. And I think Willow's going to respond to that and say, it sounds like you know better than I know.
I'm just going to briefly cut away for a second. Luca, could you roll me a Constitution saving throw?
Oh my lord. At disadvantage? Or did it
Nope,
reset
just straight.
when Yeah. Oh, bitch.
Okay. Roll me one more.
Are you giving me that out of pity?
No, there's a reason.
Thanks, above a 10.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, you.
Good to know.
Okay.
You're on the halfway mark.
Good to know.
Just go
Okay.
up by 4 each time. I'll get that.
We see Luca lying unconscious somewhere in the dark. His arms bound. We see Audrey and Brina following this tunnel along closer and closer to where Brina detects Luca's reliquary. Peter keeping an eye through a window, just barely able to see at an angle the gesticulating of Willow's arm.
Blue?
Yeah,
Oh.
because there's
Oh, because I'm talking.
yeah.
Yeah.
Audrey's continuing to keep an eye out for any further traps and
Yeah.
whatnot. Just
Give
generally
me
senses out.
another perception check.
Just flat.
With advantage.
Okay.
Okay.
30-20.
Yeah. You find another false mortared wall.
Oh, he really likes these things.
And as you push past it, once again, you find that you have just entered a little T section of a hallway. This one's much thicker. This one's much more sturdy. This was like an actual sort of barricade. So, with your and Brina's combined efforts, you managed to move it to the side. Find yourself at a T section into a T intersection. Directly opposite you is the back of a false door, and to your right is a long staircase leading down, and with that 20 perception check, you can hear the sounds of voices faintly coming through. I would like you to roll another stealth check.
Okay.
Actually, with advantage.
Both of us, or?
Oh.
Yeah, there we go.
Thanks. Good
Yes.
job. That's better.
It's because you're behind a full wall.
Nice!
Yay!
Double net 20! High
Oh,
five!
yes,
team!
Amazing.
Rad. Okay.
So rad.
I'm gonna quickly update where you guys are.
Ooh.
Bring you guys over here. So we can now see the situation.
Oh.
Alright. Alright.
We'll cut back to Willow and
No,
Warfred.
wacky.
Not a peep to be heard from beyond the wall.
Oh, you guys are so good. Thank
What
you.
would there be? There's a full cabinet in between
Yeah.
where you guys are.
And the only one who's suspicious of you, Fred, is right there in front of you.
Yeah, right?
Don't you find it strange that our last meeting left on a draw? that you never asked that question about what happened to my neck.
Willow glances away at this to like in that way of like, yeah, I kind of thought that might come back. Was it another spell?
You don't seem surprised. Interesting.
Should I be? I'm not very good at lying. I mean, it's horrifying, of course. I don't know what you're capable of. Can I ask? Rather, can I know?
Morfred just smirks. Or rather, Audrey, you follow down the staircase, or are you listening in?
God, good question.
I think Brina whispers, like, I think Luca's down at the bottom of those stairs.
Yeah, I feel like unless N hears something to stop them, like they hear something that catches their ear, they're pretty like Willow's got this. My responsibility is finding Luca, so I have to focus on that. If I get too distracted by what's happening with Willow, I might slip up. I have to stay focused.
Oh. Parallel focus. We trust each other.
Okay. In which case, you can go down the stairs with Brina.
Yeah, I think, and Audrey's certainly taking point, like keeping an eye out for traps, and also like if anything is gonna hit us, it's gonna hit me.
Okay. Yeah, so you head down first. Make one more perception check with advantage.
Okay.
Let's go, and
Not bad.
Yeah, okay. So, as you head down into the depths, these are very steep stairs. These go lower than even the sewers would have gone. Like deep into basically raw stone and earth. You see there is a little mechanism for a portcullis as you approach the bottom of the stairs and see inside a dug out cavern, essentially. Pillars of stone and earth sort of lining this cavern walls, and Luca bound and unconscious in the dark, a wound on his side.
Yeah, instinctively, Audrey's gonna like put out an arm to make sure Brina doesn't go too far into this, and is going to examine the hell out of whatever they can see right here, because that's bait.
It sure is.
Shucks. Thank you.
So, do I have to roll another perception? Because it's like, I'm gonna look around the room as much as I can without really entering it. I'm looking at this little line on the floor that looks like it's gonna raise little spikes behind me like a Zelda dungeon if I walk in.
Yeah, that is basically true, but the mechanism is on the inside of the room.
Right.
So it's like a barricade in or out. As far as you can tell, there is just Luca here. There seem to be like bits of red ore pockmarking the walls, like a broken pickaxe or so. It looks like basically a mine room has been dug out in this place. There is a little raised alcove at the back with a chair oddly positioned as if to like survey the room.
God, so fucking dramatic. And like looks at that with the flattest annoyed expression. Like, okay, king
have
of
to
your
say-
goddamn castle.
Not to be Leon Kennedy, but my first thought when I saw the chair was, ooh, I better sit in that.
Well, let's get you away from the brink of death first, okay?
Yeah, you're sitting right next to a eat hole. Like this looks.
That's not a hole. That's a column.
It's a rock.
Yeah, it's a
It's
pillar.
It's a
Yeah.
column. Yay!
It's fine. It's
So
okay.
the reason it's blacked out is not because it's a hole, but because it's like solid
Good.
wall and you
It's
can't
solid wall.
move
Through
or
it.
yeah, you
So
can't move or
glad.
see through it.
I was expecting like a whack-a-mole moment where like things pop out of the hole and one of them eats Luca and you're just
Nah.
watching from the chair at the back.
No.
Okay. Well,
Oh shit, this is so fucked. What the hell? Anyway, sorry, carry on. King of his castle, as N said.
yes. Yeah, so N is pretty much got an arm out for Brina to stay way the hell back.
Mhm.
Up to her if she's gonna listen to that. But and we'll inch closer, not to the threshold yet, and they're gonna, I think, try to message Luca, like poke him mentally, see if they can't get him to regain consciousness.
Luca looks unconscious.
Yeah.
Luca looks fully unconscious.
Yeah, so a message wouldn't
out.
like. I'm just wondering if I can poke him, if that would help at all mentally.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what N's gonna try to do first.
Is his phone battery dead or is it just on silent?
You reach out and message Luca. Luca, make one more Constitution saving throw with advantage, please,
Why advantage?
because the poison is wearing off.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Luca's still out cold.
Okay.
I'm such a damsel. Awa, I'm sleepy. Awa.
You
Oh.
can see he is like breathing
Yeah.
normally. He appears to be like in heavy sleep.
He's honkshu me, all up in this danger cave.
Yeah, well. I think Audrey's gonna look at Brina and gesture again for her to stay here. And Audrey's gonna start to move into the room.
Okay.
Can Brina do
Move
any
into the-
tests? Checks?
Yeah,
Sorry.
What do you mean? For
like
what?
detect magic. Does she still have that going? Can we
Um,
get in on that action?
yeah, you can ask her to cast it. It'll take a while because she can only cast spells ritually.
Might as well.
It's up to you.
Cool. Then Brina will start doing that. You cautiously head over to Luca as he crossed the threshold. Nothing happens. You're
Alright.
able to go approach Luca.
Okay, well, I'm going
And
to examine him.
give me a medicine check.
Yay. Let's see how fucked you are, my lad.
Oh, unfucked.
Hey. So, you take a little bit of water and like some of Luca's healing supplies, which I imagine part of his stuff is that you have a healer's kit, right? You, Luca, or am I imagining that
I think he
in
does.
your inventory? Sarah?
Sorry. Yes. Yes, I have one.
Okay, in that case, and you know that like Luca has a healer's kit on him, and one of the things on there is, for example, smelling salts to like see if you can bring people back.
Yeah,
And then on an 18 medicine check, you just like waft it under Luca's nose, and Luca was like wakes
Ooh.
up.
Ah.
You're still a little bit groggy and disoriented. Your arms are bound to your sides with rope. You've not been bound to the column. You've just kind of been tied up and left here, slumped on your side. The last thing you remember is Dragovich assaulting you and the memory of the soliloquy being pulled from your mind.
Yeah, and as soon
Mhm,
as Luca seems vaguely aware of consciousness, I think Audrey's actually going to change it to N at that point to be a
Mhm.
more familiar face to Luca.
Yeah.
Is it dark down here? Because I don't have dark.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
N's going to be like, Luca, it's me, Luca, it's N. Do you know who I am?
Hmm.
You remember me? You know where you are?
You can just like faintly squint and see the outline of, and it's like, it's very dark down here, but like your eyes are slowly adjusting. You can see just like sort of the vague shape, and you can hear their voice.
I think he's gonna pull away from Anne, skeptical.
Hey, it's okay. And it's like starts reaching for a knife, and then is like, maybe not. You're bound. Can you feel that? You're tied up right now. Yeah? Hey.
I want to inspect this person to see if I can figure out whether they're actually N.
Anne's gonna do something, actually.
Make an insight check.
Yeah. I think I have some matches or something. Something that'll produce light, or Luca will.
Okay.
I have a
Certainly
candle.
Sounds like a... Yeah.
I have a candle,
yeah,
so I'm
you
gonna...
can light it. You can quickly
light it
a
with my
candle.
fingertips. Place it down so Luca can see me a bit better. And Luca, it's me, and I'm gonna do the little hug hand gesture. It's me. I'm here to help you.
Okay, that is a pretty good indicator of that being N.
Okay, I'm going to pull out a knife and get rid of those damn binds of yours, okay? Just stay still for me.
And we will cut away from here and back to Willow and Warfred. Warfred says,
the last thing.
You see, you were getting a little too close for my liking, and I hadn't sufficiently prepared for you. You've been a real thorn in my side. I'm sure you're proud of that. You did used to be a scoundrel and a pirate, though. Since abandoned. Or I suppose deserted. You do have a habit of leaving behind the people that you care about the most. For their own good, of course. Anyway, it was inconvenient for me that you had gotten so close so quickly, so I simply wiped the memory from your mind. And he smirks at you.
I think he would probably like to know that Willow... It's not like Willow flinches or anything, but it's quite clear that the thought of that scares them.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they are very sedate in their response. I imagine that they are just kind of leaning on their hand, like on their knuckles on the table. But I think something about the stillness. Wilfred knows that they are... That freaks them out.
Yeah, there's like a tension to your stillness. It's not a relaxed stillness, it's a very tense stillness.
Willow's gonna try and... They don't make a point of hiding the fact that this makes them uncomfortable, because it's like, what's the point? So instead they're going to just kind of mention... Actually, can I do an Arcana check to see, like, what does he mean by wipe my memory?
Sure, try and make an Arcana check. DC for this is pretty high. Yeah, no. You presume it's some kind of magical spell, but it's like, that's... You haven't heard of that before. That must be very powerful stuff. If so, but you don't know what it is exactly. Warfred asks, Would you like me to return your memories of that moment? Or better yet, would you like me to show you where I've been doing all my scheming and planning? What I had in store for you?
Willow squints after a silence. I mean, obviously not. Willow, like, after all that tense silence, Willow kind of laughs at. I mean, it sounds horrific, and I saw your little sketch over there, by the way. Could I have taken that sketch, by the way?
Sure.
Could I have? Like, I didn't need to roll anything at the time to take
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Oh, cool, I just took it. Willie gestures over there. They would have taken all the sketches then. The one of Tarek as well.
I mean, if you wanted to conceal the fact that you had the sketches, it would be a sleight of hand check.
Yeah, I guess, like, belatedly, whether he saw me
that's
take them or
fine.
not. Okay. Do it now?
Yeah.
Same outcome either way.
Yeah. Yeah, he knew you had them this whole time. You were, like, basically just sitting on them.
Yeah, no, that's fine. They're probably in my pocket, and I'm not making too much of a point of, like, hiding it. It was very, like, I'm investigating you in plain sight at the moment, like, whatever. Lily's gonna say, I saw your drawings over there. Well, I have them on me, as I'm sure you noticed, but I don't necessarily want to have my head caved in if that's what's going to happen, or pulled out.
Oh, nothing so crude. That was simply
Of course.
sketches for the actual artwork. You did ask me to make it unique and personal.
Yes, obviously, deliberately.
Orford stands up and sort of walks around his room, hands behind his back.
Lily's going to sort of ponder and say, is the wager over then? Because you just answered my own question for me.
Aren't you curious how or why?
Oh, of course. So I suppose you selected my next question for me too then.
Feel free to ask another.
We did say 3 for 3. So I may as well. Is he standing?
Yeah.
I think Willow's gonna stand up as well, and then just kind of sit on the edge of the table, pondering. Let's sit back and think for a bit, and then ask, are you an Othic?
No.
Right. Do you know an Othic?
Is that your final question?
Oh, no, not at all. I can figure that out on my own. So, second question is, are you an Othic? No. Easy. Good to know. No one around me is ever what I seem to think they are. Not that I thought you were an Othic, I actually thought you were a doppelganger. But I'm not so certain now.
That would be funny, wouldn't it?
It would. It explains the whole hollow inside part, but simple flaw of character could do that as well. Your turn. Actually, let me do an insight check on his response of that would be funny, wouldn't it? Never mind!
His back is to you.
Oh, I would have
He was
asked when
sort
he was facing me, fucker. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, he turns
it.
his back to you as you say that. And seems to be looking at the wall. Do you want to know where that soldier friend of yours is right now?
Well, yes.
I could show you. He's in a bit of a poorly state. I'm sure seeing the familiar face of a friend would be quite a relief to him.
I think Willow's done some thinking. I don't want to detail my thinking in case he's reading my mind. But Willow's ultimately going to arrive at the conclusion of, no, I don't think I want to see him.
That is a pity. He circles back around to the table.
I feel like we are sort of pacing around this one table now.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that he was looking at that wall, was he looking in such a way that, like, is there stuff over there that looks sus? Was he looking at a door, or was he looking at...
There appear to be, like, several cabinets and shelves stashed up
Although
against that wall.
Distant perception check on that wall, just to see if there's anything I can see at a distance.
Okay.
That's sus about it. Ooh.
Ooh.
Nice.
High enough. High enough.
Sorry.
Barely make out on the ground that there are repeated scrape marks of something swinging outward.
Secret door.
Like a door hinge. Yeah.
Secret door.
Secret door.
However, this is information that I may forget if he decides to blast my brains open again, so I
believe it's your turn for a final question.
Just as an aside, while this is going on, I think En's going to feed Luca one of the healing potions, one of Damon's healing potions. Because he's been stabbed, so En's doing that. As in,
Yeah.
we cut over to that shot when Warfred and Willow keep talking over it.
Mm-hmm.
Of En helping Luca drink the potion.
I think Brina is standing at the doorway, keeping an ear out.
Yeah, and is counting on Brina to stay away from, like, if this room locks up, I want someone on the outside that's able to get out.
How much HP is a healing potion?
It is, for regular healing potion,
Whatever Damon
it
got.
is, I believe, 2d4 plus 2.
It's been so long I don't remember how to roll.
/ roll space 2d4 plus 2. Four HP.
Yay!
Oh, you're not bleeding anymore.
Thank you.
But it still aches.
And you.
Are we back?
Yep.
Okay. I think Willow's kind of like spread their hands out on the table a bit. This is like a high enough table in front of me, yeah? Wilfred has implied that he has Luca. There is clearly a secret door over there. I'm trusting that you guys are on the Luca case, and that's why I'm here. Sorry. And that help is on the way. In whatever way. So what remains is Wilfred. Just Wilfred. That's my main focus at the moment, is Wilfred and everything I've been trying to get from him. So there is a pause as Willow considers, and then Actually, they're going to mention too, at this point during our first game,
Mm-hmm.
this would have been when you wiped my memory, yes? Somewhere here. Before the final question.
Mm-hmm.
Wolfred, it's me.
Oh, no, Warfred makes a sort of a slight shrug.
Troubling. Especially since I can't seem to trust you to tell the truth, but you are in a more honest mood this evening, perhaps because my demise is closer. So, I suppose we'll cut to the chase. Do you know why Edmund Beckett isn't interested in your work?
He looks confused.
Genuinely confused?
I think he looks... give me an insight check.
Yeah.
Okay. I think there you see like a furrow in his brow of like, why are you bringing up that guy right now? It feels like a complete non sequitur, and also like a little tinge of like, what could you possibly know? About this.
Okay. Sorry. I need water. Okay. So nothing quite yet. All right.
What do you mean?
Like
nothing
he
quite
hasn't
yet?
said anything. No, Willow's. Pardon me. Wolfred hasn't responded in any major way as yet. So Willow will keep talking.
Yeah.
It's Edmund Beckett. You want to appeal to him in some way, yes?
I don't see what this question has to do with the conversation at hand, but...
Let me explain then. Very early on, I wrongly accused you of trying to climb the ladder in the Aurum. It's silly and boring of me, because I do believe that was the wrong ladder. It seems you have your hands on some other rungs, so to speak. And this was confirmed to me when I saw you speaking with Edmund's butler, Alonso. And at that time, I didn't mean to overhear. Sorry, we're telling the truth. I did. I eavesdropped. But at the time, Alonso spoke to you something like a dog, and you expressed some sort of desire to rise above to glory, I believe. I can't remember the exact wording. It does embarrass me to remember. But the main thing that I was left with was that if you, a very proud person, were going to let Alonso, a butler, I think, speak to you in such a way, then it is probably because you are trying to appeal to his employer. And thus, I return to my question. Do you know why he doesn't like your work? Because I think I might know.
By all means, enlighten me.
Can I know how he reacted to any of them?
I think it was like mostly that sort of impassive scowl of like, where did this come from? What do you know about it? He is not pleased by it, but he is refusing to rise to the bait as openly, perhaps, as you would like. He's not going to pop off right now just because of
No, that's fine.
implications.
I'm not yet. Okay, Willow's. It's only the opening statement. Oh, God, Willow's so annoying. Anyway, Willow's going to continue then. Well, okay. Let me explain it to you then. I remarked about enjoying your protest art at the Galleria, yes? Even the performance art at the memorial, but your work at the gallery, if I am to assume that the work that he is remarking on is the survivors' artwork, then technically sound, but the concept, if I wanted to look at an artwork depicting the fallout of war, I would not look to you. You said that you were quite distant from the effects of war, so why would you be the commentary that I would like to receive on it? What would pardon me, a rich boy on the edge of the continent know about that, which happens in its center, and yet it is your focus. So it is Willow like feels the air in that way. It is a hollow spectacle. Infantile nonsense, I heard someone say. But if it is to be taken for face value, then even the face value is not your own, you understand? And if Edmund Beckett is searching for truth, then he'll find none of it in your artwork. There is as much truth in your art as there is in mine, which is to say, smoke and mirrors. We make good masks, Warfred, but they are hollow, ultimately. And I'm not sure if a hollow mask will ever appeal to that caliber of person.
Shows how little you know. The piece at the gallery was merely for the public.
Then was Tarek the artwork that was so underwhelming?
Morford regards you with open contempt. I was hoping in our final encounter you would at least say something worthwhile of my regard. But to the end, you have been simply a blabbering nuisance.
Fine. Your question, then?
He regards you. And then with a fluid hand rubbing over his beard and then flicking the air, he casts a spell. Um, Oof. Which one should he go for? Should I be nasty or should I be really nasty?
Really nasty.
Depends how much I've
Give it to
shitted him
us.
off, I guess.
Give it to him.
You know, instead of question, I don't know if this would have changed his mind if Willow said instead of your question, then if it would have been enlighten me then. But just as an aside, I don't think that would have changed anything though.
Hmm. Okay, I think if you say enlighten me then, it's not that he casts a spell. It's that he allows the spell that had previously affected you to drop. And you recover your memories from that moment of modify memory. Give me a wisdom saving throw as that suddenly rushes back.
Great.
You feel your lungs sort of lock up for a second as you remember asking, or remember saying, I think you're lying. And then something in Warford's face split slightly along the seams. And you remember a flash of fleshy tendrils unspooling, grabbing onto your face, grabbing onto the mask, pulling it away, and staring deep into your eyes. As he pulled out some of your secrets, the memory of your brother, the memory of you abandoning the Storm Chaser. The abject sorrow that you have felt at seeing other Sirens. And you are stunned for a moment as, like, you remember viscerally the violation that was so easily swept under the rug and you didn't even know. And Warfred is now going to make an attack with advantage as you are stunned. That'll hit. Make a Constitution saving throw as you suffer, 17 damage? Not enough. DC is 14.
17 damage I took.
Yep. As you take the poison damage, you briefly fall unconscious. And we see Warfred just grab you by the collar of your shirt. Open the secret door.
Whoop.
As you fall unconscious and drag you down the stairs into the hidden basement. And make me a perception check.
Okie doke.
This Brina? Because she's...
I imagine we're gonna make our own since we are separated.
Can I make one?
Yeah, sure.
Oh,
How's
never
that
fucking
do
mind.
My ears are open. My senses are on high alert. The adrenaline is pumping.
I think you get just like a hint of warning. There's something that shifts in the air.
And straightens up.
As give me a Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
Cool, you succeed.
Someone has to.
You quickly turn out of the way as the bubbling shape of Alonzo Reedfoot appears out of invisibility.
Fuck.
Right behind you.
Oh, and stands up. Like, they were kind of crouched by Luca, but they're gonna stand up straighter now. And Oh, I think as soon as they see Alonso, a big grin is gonna spread on their face.
He appears out of invisibility and clucks his tongue as you have avoided his rotting gaze.
My. Fancy meeting you here.